Folks, this young man is quickly becoming a favorite among the millionaires we speak to each week, Mr. Brian Adamson. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Mike. And please, please don't do that. This would be the week where I get pummeled in the comments, man. just because you said something, they be like, "Oh, get this guy out of here."
No, 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 man. People love you. Love your energy. Love your thoughtfulness. And again, I want to give you full credit for our opening topic. And on this channel, myself included, we talk a lot of X's and O's, but we don't have a bigger conversation. And that is about who you need to become as a person, as a human being, to really, have a fruitful business, to really be in a good headspace. So, uh, this means a lot to me, but as somebody who brought us the topic, what does it mean to you?
It means everything, Mike. I think mediocrity scales exponentially, and I believe that mastery um, and excellence scales incrementally. And I
Ooh.
think especially in our business, you know, there's so much negative connotation surrounding investors, and particularly is because I think a lot of time they go out and seed and harvest is a principle, right? If you learn how to plant seed and sow seed, eventually you will get a harvest. The quality of that harvest is predicated on the type of seed you sow. And so, people run out and they mishandle people, they take advantage of people. And while you can turn a buck and grow a portfolio in doing that, how fruitful really is your business and how sustainable is it if you take that approach? Because as you and I both know, 90% of what we do is people oriented. The
Oh yeah,
10% is the 10% is the X's and O's. And so I
you're
just
right.
think that we're doing people sometimes a disservice um, from teaching them the X's and O's, but also, not teaching them kind of who they need to become in the process to be the best steward over the opportunity, to be the best steward over the people, and to build a business that they could point to and be happy about and sleep well at night.
Yeah, this is a very heady topic because again, it's probably easier, more comfortable, at least for me. I don't certainly don't want to speak for you to talk X's and O's because there's kind of a right way. There's kind of it's a domino, step one, step two, step three. But when you step back and you really look at the successful people, which obviously I throw both of us into and many others, one of the things that we kind of hold true is we know it takes time. One of the things about real estate investing is it takes time, right? You hear me sometimes talk about the first 5 years suck. It's just slow, right? You get these little drips, and how many people's lives are changed by $200 cash flow? But how about $2,000 cash flow? How about $20,000 cash flow? Right? This whole seed and sow or harvest idea is important because how many people plant a seed and then they're just like over the seed going grow, 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 or they harvest it too soon, or whatever the analogy is. It takes time, and I don't know if it can be accelerated. I probably don't want it to be. Right? I think real estate investing tests you because the rewards are so great,
Mm-hmm.
but they are just farther away than most of us want, and most people just bust out because of time. What do you think of all that?
Man, I think it's so much wisdom in what you said. I think one of the biggest challenges in society today are those who get caught up in societal norms, looking at social media and thinking because this person went out and bought 1,000 doors in 3 years that I need to go do the same, right? And what they don't know is in pursuit of them doing that, maybe they were syndicating, maybe they were uh, private investors to where they own 3% of that portfolio. And I'm not knocking that, but I think the additional context is important because one of the other things that I just get sick of hearing is people saying, "Oh, I got $100 million worth of debt," and it's like that tells me nothing. You
This
know what I
tells
mean?
me
Like
nothing.
that like that's nothing to brag about to me. What's the cash flow, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, but when you have people that are ill informed or misinformed, and they're chasing after the wrong trophy, well, now they go out and they try to replicate that, which is really not what they should be doing. If they can really hone in on what does success look like for you, right? If you got a $3,000 a monthly nut, well, in my humble opinion, you could be wealthy as soon as you go out and acquire assets that can cover your livelihood plus lifestyle. You can be financially free much sooner than the person that you think you're chasing. And so
Yeah.
if you get so fixated on that individual, you
Yeah.
miss the blessing in the fact that no, you can go and do 5 or 6 great deals and essentially set yourself up for life right now. And so part of all of that to me still ties back to becoming the person you need to become, to look inwardly to say, I deem what my success is. Society doesn't tell me what that thing is.
Yeah, you've got to look inward. And I didn't appreciate that for a decade, right? I'm a, my history is a commission-based salesperson. I've had a commission or a number around my neck since I was 15. Right. My job was on the line every month or every quarter, depending on where I was employed. So I was always just charging, right? It wasn't until we kind of looked back and looked inward to like, what's our thing? And it's an important thing. And for some of us, it may even be uncomfortable because we live outwardly better than we kind of look inwardly. And you bring a lot of that kind of knowledge to the channel, which I appreciate. So keep going. Tell us why it's so important.
Well, because I've done it the opposite way. I'm like you, Mike. You
Yeah.
know, I scored 99 as an achiever on the Enneagram because that's just my innate wiring. It's always looking down the road at the next thing. And now that I've had the ability to mentor students for many years, it's just so important to me now that I've identified the secret that I share with them when they're going out starting their businesses, to focus on the right stuff. Because if you're measuring the wrong things, your success will always seem fleeting. You'll never be fulfilled. And it's hard to get up every day encouraged to endure all of what we have to endure to be successful in this business, especially when you're not acknowledging any of the incremental wins along the way. And so it's just so important. Like when, I love your adage of do the work, because every day you can look and point to some success by saying, I did the work today.
Yes,
Right.
I
And
looked
it's
at
so
my
important.
market. I looked at my market. I looked so important. Yeah. And then
So
again, the
important.
celebrating the small wins. One of my greatest disappointments, which I shared in my first book, was I didn't take the moment to take a picture in front of each rental property. How much would I pay today to have a picture of Olivia and I in front of Norris Drive? Now, of course, I could do it today, but I don't want Mike at 51. I want Mike at 31
Yeah.
in front of that, celebrate the small victories. They're just so important to hold on to in life.
Very little upsets me. That's one thing I can say that pisses me off, Mike, is the fact that I had no idea I would be doing this today. And so for all those years that I was doing my business, I just never thought to do things like take pictures in front of them and
Ah,
right. Like I got
yeah,
contractor updates and those type of photos, but I never thought to do those things. And I look at
me too.
people when
Oh,
they get their success story and they show back 15, 20 years, and I'm like, who thinks to do that? Because that was the last thing
I,
I was thinking about back
dude, I was looking at the next deal. I was on to
then.
the next one. Yeah. And then the last thing I want to hit on this you started with, and I want to close here, is real estate investing is a people business. And because it is a people business, you will have multiple opportunities in your career to screw somebody over, take advantage of them, cut them out, whatever it is. Some folks have no problem doing that. I happen to believe in karma and it all being kind of coming back to you. I won't do that. And I value my reputation. A lot of the deals we got during the crash was because we were proven closers and we wouldn't do that. We were, a man or a woman of our word. But I can tell you a lot of people out there for the quick buck, and that is not a recipe to survive long term. If you get known as that person, you'll be cut out very quickly.
100%, Mike. 100%. You'll notice, especially if you plan to do multiple deals in the same market, your reputation is everything. And it could be the greatest gift to you, and it could be the biggest curse, and I get so many deals just based on the fact of how we move ethically through all of our transactions. And not to say that everything always goes smooth, but it's always ethical at the end of the day. And
Right.
people have an appreciation for that, and they'll reciprocate by sending you more business thereafter. So it's just so important to not get so fixated on what you need today, Because if you truly want to be in a position where Mike and I have been for multiple decades, which I assume many of you would be, start thinking of the long picture. Don't focus so much on what has to happen today, because if you do the right thing today, you will have a much more fruitful tomorrow.
Absolutely. Folks, people got to follow Brian Edson, somebody I follow. And you also have a growing YouTube channel. What is it so people can check you out?
Yeah, it's Brian Adamson Real Estate on YouTube, and then Brian Adamson Official on Instagram.
Thank you so much.